Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So we're going to do our Goodwood Eyecatchers, and also as well with Eyecatchers, this is something I always do. I always find races for them. There's no point just saying this horse was eye-catching, because people that listen to videos, for example, if you're doing your analysis or you're doing a podcast or some reviews and you say X horse is eye-catching, and it ran over 7 furlongs and it was eye-catching because it looked like it needed a lot further. And then next time out, it runs over 6. Well, people that don't listen to the full video or don't watch the race themselves then go, well, he was eye-catching. You said he was eye-catching and then he ran really disappointingly. And they get disappointed that the horse that you've highlighted to them was, disappointing. But that's because it didn't run in a suitable race. So I think more analysts and tipsters and pundits need to be suggesting races as well where they should be running, not just we think that horse was eye-catching. So we're going to start off with a horse called Dual Identity, who finished 5th at Goodwood, over 1 mile and 2 furlongs in the Chesterfield Cup, the first race of the festival. And is it a festival? I think it is. Looked in a really good position for most of the race. Was on the inside towards the back, wasn't super quick away, but had got into a nice position. So I thought anyway. And with about 3 furlongs to go, was trying to go for a gap, and Bystander, who actually finished 6th, just behind Dual Identity, cut right across in front and stopped the run completely of Dual Identity, which was really frustrating if you were on Dual Identity. We weren't. We were on another unfortunate horse in that race, Enfajar, who was given a terrible ride by Jim Crowley. Dual Identity didn't get a run at all, and yet still finished a decent 5th, and running off 97 suggested, the way he ran suggested he could still be, ahead of his mark of 97. Hasn't won for a little while. Hasn't won, actually, since winning at Sandown off 93. But has done well since a third at Sandown subsequently behind Too Tempting. That was a good run, and that form has worked out quite well. Now, they've stepped the horse up in trip recently. It didn't work at York. Might have been the wrong way for the horse. Again, didn't get the clearest of runs under Brandon Wilkie, and maybe a horse that does have that issue over and over again, not getting clear runs. But when he does, I think even off 97, he could go close. Finished 5th on Tuesday. Handicapper might reduce him £1, and it could be interesting next time out. Where do I think they should go next time? Well, he's got some really good form at Sandown, so surely you go for this race here, the Sky Bet for the Fans Handicap Stakes. Over 1 mile and 2, which is what he ran over at Goodwood. It's back at Sandown. As I said, he's won there once. He's won there twice when beating a certain lad by 4.5 lengths. He's won there 3 times. He beat Dragoni. 3 wins, a 2nd, a 5th, and 3 wins, a 2nd, a 5th, a 3rd, and a 6th. He's got some really good form at Sandown. And surely, this is where we're going to see Dual Identity at the end of the month, 31st of August, for the Sky Bet for the Fans Handicap Stakes over 1 mile and 2. It's okay prize money, but that's where I definitely think they should go. Go back to Sandown. You do stay 1 mile and 2, and with a clear run, hopefully, Sandown can be a bit tricky as well if you're stuck down that inside. Hopefully the jockey, whoever rides him at Sandown, probably be on, I'd say Neil Callan. Is he still in the UK? I think he is. He'd ridden him 4 times before Brandon Wilkie took over at York, and then Callum at Goodwood. But this is the race that you want to see Dual Identity in, and I think he would go there with a big chance. Moving on to Lord Redford, who ran no sort of race in the race that he'd won for the last 3 years. We backed him. The ground probably was too fast, and then he was slowly away, and Holly Doyle could never get him involved. He beat Fairwind, who refused to race, so he actually didn't beat a horse. He was £3 out of the handicap as well. So there was quite a lot that, everything went wrong. Wrong at the weights, didn't like the ground, slowly away, never travelling. You kind of feel maybe he deserves one more chance back at Goodwood. If towards the end of the month, when it's 24th of August, if there's been a bit of rain by then, I think we'll see him here, won't we? In this William Hill Handicap Stakes over 5. Horse is rated 76 to 95. He's rated 82 at the moment. I think he'll be dropped another couple. I think we'll see him rated 80. So he could be right near the bottom of the handicap come Goodwood on the 24th of August. And yeah, now it didn't work in the handicap at the Goodwood Festival. Maybe he'll be seen to better effect on the 24th of August off a career low. It's going to be a super low mark for him. It wouldn't be his lowest. He's actually been 77 when he first started in handicaps. But yeah, you can see he was only 77 when he first started. He's been in the 90s and even on the hundreds at times. Did drop to 84 when winning at Goodwood last year. Yes, it didn't work this year when he ran off 85. But maybe down to his actual mark of 80, he could be seen to better effect if it gets a bit of rain. If we get a bit of rain by the end of the month at Goodwood. Moving on, is this said Circe or Circa? Or, I'm not totally sure how you say that. But this horse, Circa, I'm going to call it Circa, ran a really good race for Richard Hannon. I don't think Holly quite got the horse in the best position. Was keen in midfield and then got stuck behind a few horses whilst Strutting was kicking away at the front. Araseg and Surveyor were coming down the outside. Circa was just in the wrong place at the wrong time and didn't extricate herself until too late. She then ran on quite nicely for fourth, and I don't think it was a bad race anyway. Strutting came into it off the back of a win. Araseg was our selection, and Surveyor had done well going into it. I think the race will work out quite nicely, and I would like to see Circa going to Newbury for the... Oh yeah, I want to see her tried up a bit further. I think they might as well step up in trip. This race here, it's a mile and 2 for horses rated 76 to 95. I think she'll get that. The way she was finishing her race suggested to me that she will get further, and the fact that she also started her career at the end of last year as a 2-year-old, running over 7, a mile's not going to be far enough for her in time. So why not step her up to a mile and 2 now in a race that I think you should go very close in at Newbury, where you've won. You won a handicap beating Battle Queen and Sunfall. Sunfall's come out and won subsequently, franking that form. It was a decent race. Has Battle Queen come out? Battle Queen was a 6-5 favourite. Hasn't come out yet. But that horse had previously finished 6th in the Sandringham. I think that form at Newbury was strong form, and there seems to be no reason for me not to step Circe up in trip for this 1 mile 2. And if she does, yeah, I'd be really keen on her running a huge race at Newbury on the 17th of August. It's only 12 days, but it would have been 17 from when she actually took her chance, or 18 even. So I think she would go really well at Newbury. Moving on, on to Jabara, who should have won comfortably at Goodwood. I kind of feel she was unlucky to lose the race. She was the best horse in the race for definite. And yeah, I think she was just a little bit unlucky. I don't actually think the jockey on the second stopped riding. He just switched. And I actually feel that was the good move for that horse. The switch actually got Rakaya going again. Yeah, I think Jabara is still going to prove that she's better than Group 3 company. I think she's going to prove she's Group 1. But in the meantime, they can go and win a Group 2, this Celebration Mile. It's a mile handicap at Goodwood. Go back to Goodwood. That's not the one I wanted to run in. I don't know where I wanted to run. It's not this 7 furlongs. That's not the right race because she's not 2. I haven't actually found a race for Jabara. Apologies for that. I've just been saying about how you need to find races, and then I can't find one for Jabara. But I think she will go. She'll prove that she's a Group 1 horse. I'm confident she's a Group 1 horse going forward. Moving on to Asterius, who finished second at Goodwood in a 5 furlong. What was it? A Group 3? Group 3, the Molecombe Stakes. Should have won. Definitely should have won. James Doyle took a pole at the wrong time, in my opinion. Got there too soon, and actually took a pole to rather than kicking for home when everything else was off the bridle. Now, what happens sometimes is you find horses are off the bridle and not going very fast, not going far very fast. Now, what James, in my opinion, should have done then is gone, right, now I'm going to go and win it then. And kick away at that point. And then, yes, they might be closing towards the finish, but you've already done the damage. You've won the race. Instead, what he did is he took a pull and allowed those other horses that were struggling and being pushed along to gain momentum and start building up speed and really get into full flight. When they were in full flight, James then went for Asterius, and by that point didn't respond quick enough. Whereas I feel if he'd gone earlier, I think he would have won. I think if he'd gone when everything was off the bridle and not actually picking up, Asterius would have won. That was a Group 3. I think there's another Group 3 that they could go and win instead. Or is it a Group 2? This one here, the Flying Childers. It's a Group 2 for the 2-year-olds. It's at Doncaster on the 13th of September. I think that's where we're going to see Asterius next. And I would have no... I think he's good enough to win a Group 2 as well. Personally, maybe James won't be as confident this time, and might make a slightly better ride of it than he did at Goodwood. Moving on to Holloway Boy, who ran a great race for us. I was a little bit disappointed or gutted, to be honest. Finished 3rd in the Golden Mile. Since running in handicaps, he's finished 5th, 2nd and 3rd off 105. Now, the handicap has got an interesting decision to make, because he's now finished 5th, 2nd and 3rd in handicaps off 105, but he's not winning them. So for me, if I was the handicapper, I'd go, well, I can't actually move the handicap mark because he's not winning them. He's running well, but he's not winning. And that could mean that he might get in. I'm just going to load all of these up. He might get in a handicap. Now, there is one I found. I'm just trying to find which one it is. It's over a mile. Is it at Sandown? No, is it Ascot? This one here. The Palmer & Co. Champagne Handicap Stakes over a mile for horses rated 86 to 105. So if the handicapper leaves Holloway Boy on 105, that's where I think they should go. On Friday the 6th of September. Try and win that handicap off his 105 mark. I'm sure he can do it. I think he, at Goodwood, just got there a little bit too soon. Toymy's Son was behind, Dutch Decoy was behind, Darkness was a bit further back, but Pedro finished well, Classic finished well. All of those that were out the back actually ran better races than those that were probably further forward. Like Perotto, for example, he was bang up there, finished 13th, went off 5-1 favourite and finished 13th because he was too prominent. Whereas Holloway Boy was one of those that was forward, that still managed to hang on and run a really big race and stick on for 3rd. I think, yeah, if the handicapper does what I think he should do, that is the race for him at Ascot. That said, if he doesn't, he could go back to Sandown, where he obviously finished 2nd to Cicero's Gift. There's a listed race on 18th of September. There is a Group 3 on the 31st of August, and there's also a listed race on the 18th of September. Is that what I just said? Yes, September. Maybe there's one more, 31st of August. I've just said that one as well, haven't I? So there's 2 races at Sandown that he could go for. I hope, though, tomorrow we'll find out Holloway Boy's left on his handicap mark of 105. He's not won off 105 in 3 consecutive runs. Why can the handicapper go, well, actually, I'm going to raise him? Doesn't totally make sense to me. And with that in mind, this race here on the 6th of September, the Palmer & Co. Champagne Handicap Stakes, back at Ascot, where I think if he'd got a clear run at Ascot, he would have won the Royal Hunt Cup, personally. So, yeah, I see no reason why he can't run a really big race at Ascot. From the same race, the horse that really caught my eye that was incredibly unlucky was Orban. Orban finished 12th of 16 and looks like he got well beat, 7 3/4 lengths. Go and watch this race. Didn't get a run at all. Down the inside, looked like he was travelling really well behind the front few. Needed a gap. It never came. the jockey is suggesting he was denied a clear run from 2 furlongs out to 110 yards out. So for a furlong and a half, he didn't get a clear run. And he didn't. And when he did, Sylvester was like, well, I'm not going to do anything now. Which was, fine. I totally agree. I wouldn't have been asking for an effort either. Where do you go with him? Well, there's a couple of races that they could go with Orban. They could run him relatively soon on Saturday. I'm just waiting to see. Has he got an entry for that yet? They should be out now. He does have an entry, which is very interesting, to be honest. In the Dubai duty-free Shergar Cup Mile, it's 50 grand for the winner. I hope they run him there, to be honest. I think he would go really well there. What was it? It was 77 at Goodwood. It's 50 at Ascot. Yeah, I'd like to see him at Ascot. He's got a couple of runs, decent runs. He was 5th in a Balmoral. Did he even win this race a couple of years ago? Just having a look. He was 8th in a Moe and Shandon. Ascot 20th, Ascot 20th. Ascot 7th in a Moe and Shandon. 10th. I thought he won this race last year or the year before. Maybe not. Oh yeah, sorry, I found it. He won a 7 furlong version, winning 24 grand on the 6th of August 2022. Now, the fact that he got so, just got absolutely smothered at Goodwood, I think he was in the process of running a really big race, though. And if he does turn out on Saturday in this final race over a mile, he won't be off that higher mark. He'll be running again, I'd imagine, off 87. Handicap, I don't think will drop him because he didn't get a clear run, so we don't really know what his performance would have been. But off 87, you would see he would therefore just scrape in at the bottom. I'm just going to load up the entries on my other screen, see who's been entered and what sort of handicap marks they've got. 2 seconds. Up to 105. He is a long way down at the moment. Yeah, I'd be disappointed if he didn't get in, to be honest. There's not too many above him. What's the max of... It's only a max of 10, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. It's 25 at the moment, but I think quite a few of those are going to come out yet. If he does get in at Ascot, I think I'd be really keen on Orban. If he doesn't, where do you go with him? I think you've got to go for this race here. The Clipper Handicap Stakes over just shy of a mile. He's been there before as well. He finished 4th in it off 99 back in August of 2022. As I said, he could get in off 87. And if he does get in off such a low mark, he would be very, very interesting. Orban is definitely one for a future handicap. Hopefully it's on Saturday. Moving on to Revic, who I thought travelled quite nicely at Goodwood. Maybe he didn't get the clearest of runs and didn't really pick up when he did. Just needs to go down slightly in class, I feel. There's a couple of races that are very interesting for him. There is a race over... Could go for this Powell's Jewellery Handicap. It's going to be quite a good race at Chester, though. He does have some Chester form, as we know. 3rd in September of last year. He also won in May of last year. They were off 92 and 95. Currently rated 93. I think the handicap is going to drop him a couple of pounds, so he might be down to like 90. Or 91, 90. If he runs off 90 at Chester, I think he could go really well in this handicap. Alternatively, you could go to Ayr. For this handicap at the top, for horses rated 81 to 100, I think it'll be a slightly easier race, and he does have good form at Ayr. He won the last time he ran there, actually, off a mark of 95. He's also finished 3rd. They're off 95. That was too far. He's won off 92. I mean, the obvious race for me is this one here on the 21st of September, but because this is on the 31st of August, that's probably what I'd do. I'd go to Chester on the 31st of August. If it works, great. If it doesn't, you go to Ayr off probably a lower mark again. That's what I think they should be doing with Revic. If there is one horse from my videos that you should take out and you should put in your Nagme, it's this one. Knightswood. Knightswood finished 5th behind Align the Stars. Now, Mark Johnston trains both of those. Sorry, Charlie Johnston trains both of those. Align the Stars was 100 to 30 joint favourite. I think Knightswood would have won it with a clear run. He was blocked so many times, including running into the back of Align the Stars, when if there had been a gap down the inside, I think he would have swept past them all and won it quite comfortably and looked very, very impressive. Knightswood. He's not in the Ebor. Wherever he goes next, I'm going to be really interested in him. I hope we see him in the Old Borough Cup. It's a 3-year-old and older handicap for horses rated 0 to 105. He's currently rated 88, so he would get in if he's high enough rated, that is. He's been to Haydock. He finished 2nd to Iron Lion, so he runs okay there. Didn't get the clearest of runs that day, and that was only 1.5 miles. I think he wants this 1.6 mile trip. I even think he could go up to 2 mile. And maybe we'll find that he's a stayer, really. And he'd probably been doing well to run places over 1.4 miles. Up to 1.6 miles, as I said, I thought that was a really, really eye-catching effort at Goodwood. And he should be the one to take out the race out of every horse, any horse at the Goodwood Festival. If they decide against that and they want to go up in trip and maybe a slightly easier race, this one here, the Royal Sussex Regiment Handicap on the 3rd of September, could be a suitable alternative. He was not going to run in both because they're on the 3rd of September and the 7th of September, so they do have a decision to make. It's all about whether they feel, well, they might enter him in both and see what they get in. If they get in at Goodwood, I think they would win at Goodwood. If they get in at Haydock, I think he would go really close. I wouldn't be like, he's definitely going to win. Whereas at Goodwood, I think if he turned up at Goodwood, he would win. He looked so unlucky and clearly appreciated the 1.6 mile trip. Even at Newmarket, when on the July course, when he was 4th, he didn't get the clearest of runs and stayed on really strongly under tactics that I felt were to make sure he got the trip and to see how he gets on. And I think Ross Orion probably came in and went, yep, this horse will win over 1.6 miles. And that's why they sent him to Goodwood. And he might have been their number one because they were going to run Align the Stars in a group race. Once Align the Stars actually snuck in this handicap of 99, they might have gone, actually, we'll definitely win that with Align the Stars. So, yeah, I think Knightswood is the one horse. If you're only going to listen to one horse in this video, that is the horse to take from. We continue and move on to Metaverse. Now, Metaverse was 15th of 18. Looks really, really disappointing. I'd like you to go and watch that run. Tom Marquand got absolutely no run under Metaverse. And the position is unfair on Metaverse. Metaverse had come into the race in good form, a couple of seconds and a win, went off 5 to 1. Next time in a similar race, Metaverse, I'm hoping, is going to be, if you could get 10 to 1 about Metaverse in a similar race, that would be the type of bet that actually that's going to be overpriced with a clear run. He would have gone a lot closer. There's a perfect race for him on the 17th of August at Newbury. It is this race here, the TPT Fire Handicap. Horses rated 81 to 100, rated 87. Don't think the handicap will move him. Has been to Newbury. Has finished 2nd, got beat by Sterling Knight by a head. I think there's just plenty to like about that. Caught in the final strides that day. Sterling Knight has won since as well, off a mark of 90, so he's now rated 93. So the winner's actually won again. I think Metaverse back at Newbury next time is going to be a bigger price than he should be, because he just got absolutely no run under Tom. Tom kept trying to switch and pull out and pull out into the centre of the track. Every time he tried, there was horses in the way, and at one point the horse had his head sideways for like half a furlong. Did not get a clear run at all, and if the handicapper drops him, it's a mental decision. If the handicapper leaves him alone on 87, which he should do, I think he can run much better next time. 3 to go in these Eyecatchers. The first one being Tritonic. Doesn't stay 2.5 mile. I'm quite confident of that. Does not stay 2.5 mile on the flat. It's a real surprise, to be honest. I never totally understand this, that they're running them over 2.5 on the flat and they're running them over 2.5 over hurdles. Well, they're not the same trips. 2.5 over hurdles, well, you know, if they were running over 3 mile over hurdles, maybe 2.5 over on the flat, I would still be looking at like 2 mile, 2 mile, 2 mile at tops for a horse that's running over 3 mile over hurdles. I don't get this calculation that they've got that they think he stays this far. I really don't think he stays this far. In actual fact, the last time he was winning, it was a handicap chase over 2 mile. Came into the race, though, quite nicely, dropping back in trip. He is well handicapped now on the flat. I'm worried that they're going to be aiming him at the Cesarewitch trial, thinking they can win that. I don't think they will. I think they need to drop him in trip, and they need to go for this race here. It's for horses rated 0 to 95. It's a comfortable... I think they would win this comfortably, to be honest. A 0 to 95 over 1 mile and 6. Tritonic would win that on the 24th of August. I think they might have bigger things in mind, and they might try for better races. You could run him here. Let's just see if he did get an entry in that. He didn't get an entry in the Shergar Cup, so we can ignore that. For me, that's the only race you should go for on the 24th of August, this 1 mile and 6 handicap for horses rated 0 to 95. If he turns up there, I'd be confident of a huge run for Tritonic. I think he would win, to be honest. 2 to go, and they are horses that we've spoken about many times. The first one being Summergand, got absolutely no run in the Stewards Cup. The handicapper, I think, is going to drop him another couple of pounds for that. Could be very, very well handicapped. And where do you go with him? Well, it's obvious. You go to the Great St Wilfrid. It didn't work in the Stewards Cup, but you know that he's got good form in the Great St Wilfrid. He was second in it last year, behind Sophia's Starlight. I think with a clear run, that's all that he needs. Finally, over 6 furlongs is a clear run. With a clear run over 6, in a big handicap, he will still be able to win, even at the age of 10. His effort at Goodwood, he was still in the process of running a big race when he got hampered. After being hampered, he then ran on quite nicely for a never near a 14th. And finally, Rohan. So Rohan finished 12th. I thought he actually performed a little bit better than that position-wise, but he was never dangerous. He was over that far side, and he went all the way over the far side, slowest part of the track. Still finished 12th. Goes to this Air Gold Cup off his new mark, whatever he's going to be. What's he currently rated? He's currently rated, so we've also got to remember, he ran here off a mark of 102. Well, he's actually rated 96. If the handicapper drops him another couple of pounds, I don't think he should, because it was the Stewards Cup and he was running off 102. So why would the handicapper drop him? Because he's already dropped him. But if he runs off 96 and he goes to the Air Gold Cup off an £8 lower mark than when unlucky last year, only beaten a length and 3/4, I think Rohan will go very, very close to that. And if we can start getting these fancy prices about him, 25, 33 to 1 for a Air Gold Cup, I really hope they don't run him again now and they go straight for this, which I think Rohan would win. So yeah, if you're going to just have one horse from this video, please take Knightswood. And if you're the trainer and you listen, please run him in the which race? The 1 mile and 6 Old Borough Cup. I think he'll win that. So yeah, they are the Eyecatchers from Royal Ascot. Hopefully they can go on and win future races down the line.